Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to this IBPS PO Mains Descriptive Section live session brought to you by TalentSprint. If you were here with me yesterday, we looked at letter writing, and today's session we're going to focus on essay writing. Yeah? So who's here? Rani, Shubham, Noor, Vinod, Udaya, Ravi, Modisar, Muthu, Narsimha. Okay, some more joining us. We'll wait for the rest to join as well. So in today's session, we're going to look at a whole lot of things when it comes to the essay writing bit. Essay writing, as we all know, is about content. That's where the challenge is, right? Most of us, we don't know what to write because we don't have enough content to write on a given topic. So for that, we all know that we have to read extensively and be updated with what's happening. Current affairs, right? Not just that, just our ability to branch off from the given topic. So either you have content or you can use the topic itself, to give you some sort of a direction. Okay, what can I write? So analyze the topic and see how you can present your essay, right? There are different types of essay that you can choose to present your content, right? So we look at what are those different types of essay. What can I fall back on, right? There's something called a thesis statement. For some of you, it might be completely new. We look at what a thesis statement is and how helpful it will be for us to expand our content for a particular essay topic, right? Of course, we look at a sample essay. We will also look at what are some of the details that we need to keep in mind, that goes into writing an essay. While writing an essay, what are some of the things that we have to have, right, which will give us some sort of a logical flow to our essay. People should feel that the ideas are flowing naturally in your essay, right? And then of course I'll share with you some sample essay topics, and we'll also summarize this whole thing in terms of just reviewing some guidelines. Yeah, all of this, is it possible in the next half an hour? I believe so. So let's get started. Yeah, some more people have joined. Welcome to all those of you who are here with me, and if we need to cover all of that, right, we will have to start right now. Most of your questions will be answered through the course of this session. If not, I will take up questions at the end of the session. Fair enough? Yeah? So let me share the screen and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to look at what these essay types are. Okay, so I've just listed a couple of them. There could be more than this, but just for us to have a general idea, right? What's a discussion type of an essay? We're saying an essay is given and it's asking for your opinion on that topic, right? Mostly it can be a question. What do you think about this? Right? It can be a question, or it's asking for your opinion on a given topic. Okay. So basically you discuss the topic, right? That's a discussion sort of an essay. A proposal is an opinion is already stated. Right? So the topic is already proposing something to you. Either you can agree with what the topic is saying, or you can disagree with what the topic is saying, okay? Or you can even take a neutral stand. You neither have to agree nor disagree. Your paragraphs can be divided into, one paragraph, okay, I'll agree. The second paragraph, I'll disagree, but my conclusion can be a neutral stand. It really doesn't matter. Argument, usually there are two sides of it, right? What are the pros and cons? What are the advantages, disadvantages given the topic? Cause and effect. Again, you can decide, okay, I will talk about the reasons why something is happening. That can be one paragraph. Then I will talk about the consequences of this. That will be another paragraph. So you'll have an introduction, and then you'll have, first paragraph will be introduction, second paragraph reasons, third paragraph consequences, and then you'll have the conclusion. Problem solution, same thing, right? What are the problems that are arising because of this, and what can be the probable solution, right? So given a specific topic, So given a specific topic, you can decide. And why is this important? This is important. This is where the part of, somebody asks, how do I analyze a topic? This is how you analyze a topic. A topic is given, you figure out how you're going to write your essay. Are you going to give your opinion, or an opinion is already stated and you're going to agree with it, or you're going to disagree with it, or you're going to take a neutral stand? Are you going to look at a topic and say, okay, can I think about the problems and put that in one paragraph? Can I think about the solution, probable solution? You're giving suggestions, recommendations, put that in another paragraph. Can I highlight the reasons why this is happening? And, what are the possible consequences if this happens, right? So when I say analyzing the topic, you're using the topic as your guideline, right? And you're deciding what course or what path your essay is going to branch off into. Yeah. So it is important. And the rule says, what's the relevance of essay in IBPS PO? You need to understand the reason why they introduced this section, right? It involves a lot of your ability to understand certain concepts, your ability to communicate effectively, right? Your ability and checking on your general awareness or knowledge on certain specific current affairs topics, right? You'll be dealing with different customers where you will be the ambassador for that particular bank, representing that particular bank. So they're obviously looking at people who are able to communicate effectively their thought process, who are knowledgeable and updated with what's happening, right? Current affairs. So descriptive section is more to do with your logical ability to condense essential information given a specific topic, your ability to communicate effectively, and that's where the relevance comes in, right? Some people might be wondering, why are they even having this section in the exam? There's a reason for it. The reason being, if I want to take you into my bank, I want to make sure that you're able to communicate effectively to the customers. If you're a person who's, when you're speaking or when you're writing, right, there will be written communication. You will be verbally communicating with your customers, your clients, your colleagues itself, right? So is there coherence in what you say? Are people able to follow or understand what you're trying to communicate, right? The basic objective of communication is, when I say something, people should follow what I'm saying. Otherwise, what's the point of me opening my mouth and communicating? Yeah. So let's go back. So we have an idea of what these essay types can be. Yeah. So Dhruv, hopefully I answered your question. Now let's pay attention to what is this. So once I have analyzed the topic and decided, okay, this is what I think I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to write my essay, right? I'm going to either state my opinion, or I'm going to either agree to the given opinion, or I'm going to talk about the pros and cons, whatever it is. Yeah. So what is this thesis statement? Remember I said a thesis statement. Now a thesis statement is usually one sentence, okay? And it almost summarizes what the main idea of your essay is. So when I look at the thesis statement, I know, okay, it's an expansion of what the essay is going to be about. And why is this important? Because it will give you some sort of a direction on how you want to expand your essay. The content will develop from your thesis statement. So that's why it's very important for you to form a very clear thesis statement, right? Some of you may do this, some of you may not do this. So Yamini, we'll look at that one after the other, one by one. I should be able to answer your question in the process, right? What if the essay has, okay, let's address Yamini's question. Yamini is like, what if the essay has all required points, but it's not in a sequence? It's like this, right? A topic is given or somebody asks you about a particular thing. You might know all the points for that particular concept. But if you're not able to present it or package it in a sequence that is easy to follow or understand, it loses the essence of why you said what you said, right? It doesn't make sense. I can know all the details pertaining to a specific concept, but if I'm not able to present it or package it in a manner that is understandable by you, it doesn't make sense. It's just the same thing in the essay as well. Yeah. So let's focus on a particular topic. Yeah. is the current education system bridging the gap between engineers and skilled employees? So if you have a topic like this, is the current education system bridging the gap between engineers and skilled employees? So I can make sub-points, right? How do I form this thesis statement? So I'm looking at the question. This is a question, right? The topic itself is a question. Is the current education system bridging the gap between engineers and skilled employees? It's a question, which means I can give my opinion on it, right? You don't have to figure out, okay, what type of an essay is this? That's not where you break your head. That information that I provided to you in terms of types of essays is for you to analyze the question and decide how you're going to write your essay. So for this, I'm going to give my opinion, obviously. And looking at all the keywords, right? Education system is addressed. We're talking about graduates, engineering graduates, and skilled employees. Are they skilled enough to be employable, right? That's what we're looking at. Having focused on these three keywords, I have to come up with my thesis statement. So what will I basically talk about? I will obviously talk about what's the current unemployability situation, right? Because we're saying people graduate and come out of engineering, right? And we're saying whatever they studied in their education system, in their university, in their college, is it enough equipping them to become employable, right? That's what the question is. So obviously I will link it to unemployability. I will link it to, there is a gap definitely between what the system teaches and what the industry wants, right? I will also, so applying a little bit of logic, I form my key points for the thesis statement. What and all am I going to address? I will address unemployability. I will address the gap that the education system has versus what the industry requires or wants, right? So that's my thesis statement. Let's try and form a thesis statement. So let's look at this. So if I have to write a thesis statement for this, I'll say, I can probably say what is the unemployability? So for this also, I need to have some sort of basic knowledge, right? Which means I have to have some sort of statistical information if I'm presenting statistics. So if I can say the unemployability statistics clearly states there is a gap between what is being taught and what the industry wants, basically, right? What the industry wants, right? But I'm also probably bringing another twist, but I want to add another dimension to it, okay? The dimension is, I will say, but the question I want to put forth is, this is my own opinion, but the question is whether we are looking at the right course for us to pursue, right? So basically, this is my thesis statement. I've addressed unemployability. I'm saying, yes, there is a gap between what is being taught, which is the education system, and what the industry wants, right, in terms of skilled employees. But is engineering the only solution to bridge this gap? So this is a completely different take that I have on this question. So this is my thesis statement, which means my essay will address all these three pointers. Yeah? Until yes. Okay, so I have an idea. So the first step one is to analyze the question, decide how you're going to write the essay. Two is decide on the thesis statement based on the topic, which means you will pay attention to keywords from the topic and formalize what you're going to write. Decide how you're going to expand your content, right? Now we're going to take a look at the sample essay. Most of you are coming back and asking, can we look at other topics? Yes, we are going to do that. Patience. But let's look at how we build content for an essay. Yeah, so let's quickly it'll help you, Shubham. The thesis statement will help you expand on content. See, most of us, the thing is, we immediately start writing, right? And we are all over the place because we don't have a clear structure of what we want to write. So we start off writing something. See, if it's a problem solution or a cause and effect essay, if that's the mode that you're taking, then it's okay. Because as you think, you can write out all the problems, you can write out all the solutions. That's a different case. But if it's an opinion that you're going to write, or if you're discussing the topic, then you need some sort of a structure, right? Where will you get that structure from? The thesis statement will help you with that structure. So it's optional. I'm telling you that this will help you give some sort of a coherence and structure to your essay. Let's go back. So now that we have an idea, let's look at it. Yes, Mahesh, mostly the thesis statement will be part of the introduction, right? It's just a one sentence. Usually it comes in the introduction, the first paragraph, so that people know, okay, this is what the essay is going to be about, right? As they're reading, they are aware. So let's look at a sample essay for the same topic. So this is the same thing. The topic is the current education system bridging the gap between engineers and skilled employees. We took a look at the thesis statement, okay? Now let's look at the first paragraph. Is this a classic case of supply exceeds demand, or employers are unable to find the right fit that meets the required skill set, or both? So basically what the introduction paragraph is starting is, do we have so many people graduating, right? Coming out of universities with engineering degrees, but the demand is very less. There are not enough jobs to fit everyone, right? So is the supply exceeds demand, or that employers are genuinely not able to find the right fit? They don't have skilled employees. They don't have students who are displaying the required skills that the industry needs, right? Or is it a combination of both? The unemployability statistics, see here, this is my thesis statement. It's right here. The unemployability statistics clearly states that there is a gap between what is being taught and what the industry wants. But the question is whether we are looking at the right course for us to pursue, right? And then moves on. According to last year's survey findings by NDTV and Hindu, they state that around 50% of Indian graduates are unemployable. So which means I need to have done some sort of a research, or I need to have read extensively for me to put a point like this, right? Involves research or extensive reading for me to state something like this. While the system needs to take a fair share of the blame, conversely means, on the other hand, it's time we also took accountability and introspected if engineering alone is the right expectation for the future. See, I'm addressing my thesis statement. For instance, why are we so obsessed with just attaining an engineering degree and oblivious to the short-term implications of not finding the right job? Then, some more statistics. There are 1.5 million engineering pass-outs in India every year, and fewer of them are getting hired. Where does this come from? Research and extensive reading. When the market doesn't seem to be providing that many job offers, why are students still opting for this stream? Moreover, how come there are hundreds of engineering colleges that have sprouted in various cities, and does anyone even stop to think, are they even set up with the right infrastructure and the qualified workforce management to help students attain the required employability skills? So it's more of a thought-provoking essay, right? A lot of questions, wanting the reader to stop and think. So this is a strategy that you can use. Do you want to inspire the reader? Do you want the reader to think? Do you want the reader to, go back and take some steps? Right? Are you trying to persuade the reader? So these are questions that you can ask yourself. Are you following? So one way in which you can make your essay interesting is ask questions. What do you want the reader to do? Once this person reads my essay, what do you want them? Do you want them to be inspired? You want them to take some action? Right? If it's an environmental, something to do with the environment, right? Are you putting points which will encourage the reader to take some steps positively towards, and towards the environment? Positive reinforcement, right? So you ask yourself, what is the intent or the purpose of you writing this essay? What are you trying to convey to the reader? Let's continue. All things considered, it's a given that the system needs to move away from rote learning methods and focus on skill education, but here are a few pointers to chew on. So again, this is a very thought-provoking essay. Family is unwilling to explore other skill streams and of the mindset that engineers and doctors are the only two prestigious professions. Not recognizing profit-hungry managements that lack quality teachers. Not understanding the critical need of applying English and shifting from the first language comfort zone. Not enough industries integrating with the education system to provide real-time experience for students to understand the market and nature of work. So these are some really good points that the person who's writing the essay has left for the reader to think about. In short, as much as the education system requires a complete curriculum revamp and needs to lean more towards practical application, bridging the gap between the industry requirement and the student learning performance and scalability, it's time that the overall view towards the engineering degree change. So look at the last statement. I'm again making reference to my thesis statement. I'm saying, yes boss, the need of the hour is bridge the gap between what the industry wants and if the student is skilled enough to be employed. But the focus is, or what should we be thinking is this the only means of getting employed? Right? So you have a direct link to your thesis statement. So if you look at this essay, in terms of flow, right, you're always going back and highlighting points relevant to your thesis statement. There is some sort of a logical flow. And one other thing that I want you to pay attention is to these transitional words. Can you identify some transitional words in the essay? You know what transitional words are, right? Words that I will use in the middle of the essay because I want to give more information, or if I'm concluding the essay, there are certain statements that I can use as a result. On the whole, right? Can you identify some transitional statements or words, and why is it important to use in an essay? Because it helps in sequence. It gives some sort of a natural flow to your sequence, right? Let me see if you're able to identify any transitional words. I've projected the Yeah, I'll give you about 10 seconds. See if you're able to identify any transitional words. According to, conversely, moreover, yeah, likewise, good. Yeah, all things considered. In short, right, you're summarizing. So you can use transitional words, right, to summarize. So in conclusion, so there's some sort of a logical sequence and structure to your essay when you use transitional words and phrases. So this is something that you have to consciously use. In addition, right, these are all things that you can use. So the idea, yeah, while the system, while conversely, right, while something is happening, on the other hand, right? So when you use transitional words and phrases, it automatically brings in structure and logical flow to your essay. But you just need to remember to use them. Most of us, we're not writers, right? We don't write novels and articles for newspapers. Though some of you might write, like you might write to the editor, right? That's a different thing. But otherwise, I'm saying it's a good practice to use transitional words, right? It gives a lot of structure to your content. So we have an idea. We've analyzed the essay topic. We know what we're going to do. We've figured out our thesis statement. Then we've used the thesis statement to expand on our essay. But for us to expand on our essay, we need to have researched or read extensively because we need some content to write on the topic. We use transitional words to bring structure and logical flow. Let's move to the next segment, right? So let's take a look at some of the topics, some sample topics that you probably want to you might encounter in the exam. Demonetization and its aftermath, right? It's been a year since we launched this initiative and what's happened now. Aftermath means what are the, as a result of implementing this, what happened, right? So you might have a topic around that. So demonetization and its aftermath. So here it's again asking for your opinion. What do you think? What do you think about, demonetization? Right? It's a discussion. So you're discussing what you feel. So you need to pull in. So you can make this, you can personalize this essay. You can feed in examples and experiences. You can bring yourself into the picture. How has it affected you? How has it impacted you? How has it impacted people around you, right? And a little bit of reading and research can give you more inputs on how has it affected society at large, right? Booming of e-learning in the education system and society. So we know for a fact that online learning is at its peak, right? There are so many resources available. People have access to free content online to read so much, right? To expand their knowledge on so much and to expand their learning. So what do you think about that, right? So booming of e-learning in the educational society, how is it? So you can probably, you can choose, so analyzing the topic, you can choose, okay, do I want to write about the advantages of that? Can I also write about the disadvantages of that? It's up to you. You can decide how you want to. So that becomes a argument essay. So I will write the advantages of e-learning. I will also write the disadvantages of e-learning, if that's what you want to focus on. If you're saying no, I will only focus on the advantages. Or you can even make it a cause and effect essay. I will write the reasons why people are transitioning from classroom mode learning to e-learning. And I will write the consequences of that. It can be positive consequences. Yeah. So you can decide, analyzer, technological development affecting banking industry. Will government alone be benefited from the GST, or is it helping develop common people of India? People trust on God-man in India. What's God-man? Yeah. So if you don't follow certain terms in the topic, automatically you'll have to choose some other topic which you're comfortable with, right? Who's a God-man? Do you know any examples of God-men in India? Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba is one example, right? Basically, people look up to one person because they have some divine powers, ability to read minds, ability to heal, ability to tell, okay, this is how your future will be, right? Yeah. So people trust on God-man in India. So if you're somebody who has more information on that, you can choose to write on that. What is your opinion on people trusting God-man in India? This concept is only, it's widespread only here in India, not in any other places. So what is your opinion about that? You can write about that if you have knowledge on that, right? Technology is killing human imagination. India and its activities to handle Rohingya refugees. Again, Rohingya refugees, you need to have read something about it, right? Some of you might be clueless. What is Rohingya refugees? I have no idea. What is this referring to? The 215 Rohingya refugees who moved from Burma, right? Through, they moved to a lot of southeastern countries like Malaysia. So if you don't have information on this, you're not going to be able to write on this. That's why it's important for you to read up on what's happening. What's the last one? Social media role in the day-to-day lives of an adult is a boon or bane. Right? This is a typical yeah. If you look at the topic, sorry, let's go back to the topic. So social media role in the day-to-day lives of an adult is a boon or bane. Again, you can choose, right? Your introduction for a topic like this can be about, okay, what's the current role? Give some statistics about how many people spend time on social media on a day-to-day basis, right? That can cover the statistics. Include your thesis statement. What are you going to focus on? So it's saying boon or bane. Maybe your second para after the introduction can be about the advantages. The third para can be about the disadvantages, and then you can conclude. And you don't even have to take any particular side, right? You can just have a neutral stand. So these are the advantages, these are the disadvantages, but as far as me, how has it affected me personally? How do I view social media, right? Yeah, so you can choose, or you can even make it a problem solution essay, right? What are all the problems because people are so hooked onto social media? What are the consequences of that? What will happen as a result of that, right? That can be the second paragraph. So once a topic is presented, the first step you will do is analyze. How am I going to write this topic? 2, let me get my thesis statement. What am I going to cover in the topic? What do I want to cover in the essay? And then you expand. For expanding, you need to have some information content, right? So let's look at some of the guidelines that you need to keep in mind when it comes to topic. So will there be any topic except current topic? See, I mean, if you look at these topics, social media, role in the data, very personalized topics, right? Technology is killing human imagination. Except GST and Rohingya refugees, maybe technological development affecting banking industry also needs a little bit of research and for you to read extensively on it. But otherwise, everything else, you can just talk based out of your experience. So let's quickly look at what are some of the guidelines, right? The first thing is you need to do is read extensively to acquire information. You need to have content, facts, figures, statistics, and please, when you're mentioning statistics, facts, be very careful, especially if it's numbers, not just put approximately. Don't, say it as it is, because that might not be true, right? You could end up giving incorrect information. And yes, it matters. So choose facts, statistics wisely. If it is relevant to the topic, then yes, mention it. Otherwise, don't. Right? So the first step, like I said, post reading the topic, analyze the presentation mode and style. How will I present my essay? Have a clear thesis statement. Next one. Why? Because it will guide you with focus points for the body of the essay. Fourth, check to see if you follow the basic essay outline and cover all subpoints. So your thesis itself can give you subpoints on what you want to cover. So when you go back and check, when you proofreading, right? You also proofreading to make sure, hey, did I cover all the points that I put down in my thesis statement? Have I missed out anything? Because when you start writing, sometimes you're in that flow, you tend to overlook certain points that you have already listed out saying, okay, I want to cover this. You might have missed that out, right? So what else are you proofreading for? To eliminate errors pertaining to sentence structure, spellings, vocabulary, logical construction. So when you go back and proofread your essay, you know that this statement is unnecessary. The same meaning is what is expressed in the next following statement. Why do I need both these statements, right? Eliminate unnecessary sentences that are repetitive in meaning. Yeah, and that will happen only if you proofread. Sometimes we are our best teachers when it comes to correction, right? When we go back and read our own material, we will find at least a minimum of 5 mistakes. It can be a spelling mistake, it can be a wrong word choice, or I could have framed this sentence a little more, effectively or better with the choice of words that I've used. So you'll somehow have to allot time to proofread your essay as well. Extremely important. So you'll have to manage your time. Yeah, you can, Shubham. Use active voice and transitional words and phrases, right? We said that. See, for example, let's go back to this one. So if you look at the third paragraph, it says here, while the system needs to take a fair share of the blame, right? This is an active voice. The system needs to take a fair share of the blame. Instead of writing, a fair share of the blame must be taken by the system. That's passive voice. Passive voice always lengthens the sentence. Stick to active voice. Yeah? See, remember, active voice focuses on the subject. And the subject is always what arouses curiosity in the mind of a reader, right? So that's why it's important for you to stick to the active voice. What else is there? Stick to the word limit, right? Whatever the word limit is. It could even be 150, but usually it's 250 to 300. Yeah? So stick to the word limit. I think the letter would be 150 max. The essay would anywhere range between 250 to 300. So just stick to the word limit because it's easier for you to So whether it's 250 or 300, you know, then again you'll have to figure out how you're going to do this. Some of us have a tendency to write really very little, not enough, not even close to the word count. Some of us have a tendency to write at length. We just can't control ourselves, right? We go over and above the word limit. So you somehow have to draw a fine balance, and that's where proofreading comes into play. You proofread. If it's over and above the word limit, try and see where you can cut down sentences. Right? Am I saying the same thing in another way in this sentence? Do I need this sentence? I don't need this sentence. Delete it. Yeah? So Shubham says, which to attempt first, essay or letter writing? See, there are two ways to look at it. What will carry more weightage? Essay. For some of you, essay might take a longer time in terms of preparation and then putting it down, right? Letter writing is easier in terms of preparation. You can quickly finish that off, right, in 10 minutes. So in half an hour's time, I would ideally say it doesn't matter what you choose, but stick to the time limit. Don't spend more than 10 minutes on an essay, because at least leave 20 minutes for essay, because you'll need that time. You will need at least that much amount of time. You know, even if you take 5 minutes to analyze, figure out your thesis statement and decide, okay, this is how I'm going to write my essay, you will need another 10 minutes to write the essay, and you will need the last at least 2 minutes to proofread. Yeah? So Merlin, just type, not Merlin, who asked that question? Shubham, just type transitional words. Google will help you. There are so many transitional words you can use to start something. What can you add in between? What can you add for conclusion? Yeah? So many. You can just choose one of that. Can I write point-wise? It depends, right? The entire essay cannot be point-wise. That won't make sense. If you're trying to highlight some specific aspects, or you want to capture the reader's attention to these important points, yes. In a paragraph, you can have 3 or 4 points highlighted point-wise. That makes sense. The entire essay can't be point-wise. Yeah. I'm not too sure, Shubham. You might want to check the notification for that. I don't want to give any wrong answers here. Yeah. So that's about it, guys. So all you need to do is, first of all, expand your knowledge. So make sure you have enough content to write on a varied number of topics. So start reading, start acquiring information. That's the first step that you will do. Then next you can figure out, once I have something to write about, right, if I'm given a topic like Rohingya refugees, if I know something about that, then I will somehow try and fit whatever I know into whatever mode of style I have decided to write my essay on. That's the secondary. The first thing is, I need content, I need content, I need content. And that can only happen if you start reading. So please do that. How to know if it is 150 words? Does it affect if it is more or less? It doesn't matter. I mean, you can't like be that precise saying, you know, it should not even cross one word more than 150 or one word more than 250. That's not how it works. When I say stick to the word limit, it can be 15 words less or more. That doesn't matter. Or 20 words or even 25 words less or more. That really doesn't matter. As long as it doesn't take away from what you can't have too little information on a given topic where you don't qualify to be evaluated on something, right? At the same time, you can't keep writing on and on and on without knowing where to draw the line and stop. So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So again, all the very best. I think once you have enough content, you will automatically be confident to approach any topic, and you can decide to choose from the options given. I'm sure you'll have options to choose from, right? So you can choose a topic that you're comfortable with. Don't take challenging topics, right? Choose one that is you're comfortable with, where you know that you have enough content to write, and make a smart, wise decision at the time of the exam. Yeah. So all the very best. Stay tuned, Shubham. Just if you subscribe to our channel, you know exactly when the next session is. You will be notified, right? All you need to do is just follow the notification and you can join the session. Yeah. So all the very best, guys. Keep practicing and stay focused. I will see you guys in another session soon. Take care. Bye-bye.